I'm not going to do any more to it except for what it needs. Oh, well, it does need belts, hoses. I'll probably change the rest of the vacuum lines that look bad. But all in all, for something dragged out of a field, I think she's passable. Hey guys, John here. Thanks for joining me on the John Freitag channel. Now, today we got a little bit of monkeying around to do with this Cadillac, but guess what? We're outside finally with it. Took it for a little spin the other day, and it started running really raggy. I mean, it just doesn't sound right at all. Let me see if I can even start it again. We'll start it up, and you guys can hear it and see what you think. Yeah, I was just gonna stall too. Sounds to me like there's at least one dead cylinder, probably more, that kicks in and out. Now the other day when I was headed out driving, you know, carbureted, so I went to restart it hot and I pumped it a couple times to get it cranking, and then I think I flooded it out, and then I headed out to the floor and cranked it and stopped cranking and did all that. I finally got it running and got it back out here, but it hasn't run right since. I think I flooded out one of the spark plugs to the point where it's not firing much anymore. So I have plugs, wires, cap, rotor. I've got new hoses and I got new belts, which it definitely needs because these are starting to look all kinds of ratty. They're falling apart. I got it charging the other day just by wiggling the plug out in the alternator. Thing's ready to go. I just got to get it running right now. So let's get started. Okay, guys, we got our wires from Napa, which some people don't like Napa wires. I don't know. We'll find out, won't we? We got our cap from Napa. Dust all over. It's been sitting around the shop. And we got our spark plugs from AC Delco. I always get plugs that aren't Champion. I just don't like Champion. When I was a kid, I know it was 1,000 years ago, we'd put them in a tractor, they wouldn't run. I put in other plugs that ran great forever, and that's why I don't like Champion. So I'm gonna get going on this thing. I ran this enough to get it warmed up pretty good. Yeah, these plug wires are probably the problem. They could be the problem. They generally are. These are at least 22 years old, I would say. Probably older than that. And I see rust down inside where the plug goes. There's probably rust on this end. Not to mention the wires degrade, and then they don't connect good. I could test these out, but I don't see any point. I got a new set, so we're going to throw the new set right on there. Well, this end looks pretty clean. Oh, these are Packard type suppression. What are they? 7mm? They look like 7s. H, 1Q76, whatever. So these are going away, but just one at a time. I don't want to get myself in so deep where I'm just going to do each one at a time, plug them back on. We'll start it, see what happens, then change the cap and rotor. If it runs fine, I won't change the cap and rotor. I'm only going to change it if I really have to. Well, guys, it's like 23 degrees out this morning. It's probably, about 10 o'clock now, and it's warming up quick, and this black sweatshirt's going to go pretty soon. But what I got is, I got these spark plugs. Now, this is a Points ignition distributor in this 1970. They didn't go to HEI yet. So what I got to do is I got to gap these plugs. And what I'm seeing is in my little plug gapping tool here, it's got several, but not all, options for setting the plug gap. It's got different size feeler gauges like this right here, which is 35, which is what it calls for. I looked it up on the DuckDuckGo and found it. So if I got it right here, I stick that in there and I'm finding that's just a little wide. I'm going to try my trusty benderizer here and we'll see what happens. Hopefully I don't break it. I've done that before. Actually broken spark plugs. It was ridiculous, but I did it. So I'm going to give that just a little tweak, just like that. And oh, by golly, it's perfect. Now I got 7 to go, and I'm not going to make you guys sit through all that. But I'll let you know as soon as I get done with gapping these plugs and start putting them in. I'll be back. Well, I got the first one yanked, and if you look at that, that don't look too bad to me. Smells a little gassy, but for the most part, that looks to me like it was firing. It didn't come out soaking wet. It's only the first one, and I know most of them are doing okay, but it's pretty much got a square prong. Doesn't look worn out. The gap is at 35. Probably not the smoking gun I was looking for. Okay, new plug wires. This is the first one I yanked off. I guess it is number 1 cylinder. Oddly, it's passenger side. First one in a row. Got this guy here. I'm going to get one that matches it out of this box of plug wires. Ooh, look at that. Oh, it says mileage plus on them. I don't know. You know, sometimes new plug wires aren't any better than the old ones. I got the coil wire here. I'll set that off to the side. And I find the one that matches, stick that thing on there, and then I'm going to go ahead and just do one after another, one at a time, till I get it all done. Well, guys, I got the passenger side done. Probably 20 minutes, maybe a half hour. not bad. Wires, plugs, the whole thing. I'm not finding any smoking guns. I expected a wet plug or something like that where it's missing, even with a bad plug wire, just a wet plug that quit. The last one on the passenger side, the plug wire was a little loose, but the plug came out dry. They all look like they're firing. They all look kind of good to me. They don't look old. They look like that'd be working. So all that to say, time to hit the driver's side, and hopefully we find something ugly there that'll just alleviate my nervousness over what's wrong with this car. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna try it, start it up, and see what it does. All right, guys, it took me less than an hour. I got all the plugs changed, gapped to 35 like they're supposed to. All the old plugs came out. They all look good. Hate that. Got all the wires changed. They didn't look great. They're all kind of crunchy and crispy, and they could be a problem, but I'm starting to think not. We're gonna start it up and see what happens. Luckily, all the new plugs I put in, they're all fabricated in a place called, where's this place here? Oh, way out east. A really big place with a lot of people, a lot of little kids assembling stuff. So I really feel good about putting these plugs in there. So anyway, we're going to see what happens. I probably won't throw the old plugs away just because they're probably higher quality and they don't look worn out. So I'm going to save them. Wouldn't even have changed them really if I'd have known how they looked. Let's start it up and see what it does. Well, that definitely does not sound better. I don't think that's better at all. Sounds like it's leaning out. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to get in the carburetor. There's probably some piece of dirt floating around in there that got into a jet, and it's causing that issue. That would be my wild spitball guess. All right, so I'm gonna change the cap and rotor anyway. We'll see if that fixes it. Highly doubt it, but that's what I'm gonna do next. I got the new rotor installed. I got the cap on. It even seems to be on right, snapped in place. Now it's just a matter of lining up like this first one past the door. And I'm gonna go around the thing like I'm going around the clock and pulling them off this one and sticking them on that. Guys, I did it slow and deliberate. I probably still screwed it up and got the wrong wires on, but I'm hopeful, really hopeful. Okay, so anyway, if I was to look inside here, I do see some corrosion. I see some, you know, a little bit of burn on the terminals. Not horrible though. The rotor doesn't look great. The business end's a little burnt, you know. So it may be a little bit of a weak spark scenario, but in my experience, a weak spark usually doesn't want more gas. And this seems to go better when I step on the pedal and the accelerator pump drops a little more gas in it for me, and then it kind of goes, and then it levels off and starting to sound leaning out. I really think it's leaning out. I think that's the real problem. I ordered up a new carburetor kit for the Rochester down at my Happy Napa. It should be in first thing in the morning. Those guys are too good to me. Anyway, let's start it up and see what it does. On the gas pedal, it obviously revs up, but it's also getting that shot of gas. The way it's running right now, I think it's leaning right out. And I got one belt on there. Check this out. That second belt, I think it's half gone. I don't know where it went, but that is not a good belt. So I'm going to let it clean up the pulleys a little more before I put the new belts on. The darn belts, those belts cost me 80 bucks, so got to be careful with what you spend on these things. Let's see what it sounds like out at the tailpipe when I step on it. I think you guys can hear that. It sounds a little lopey to me. Let me go step on the gas. Yeah, probably not good. I didn't hear it, but you guys did. Let me know what you think. Not right. Yeah, it's missing, carrying on. Sounds like it's laboring to run. Just not what we want to sound like. when we're cruising around in our old caddy. So, hey guys, so I've got this far. I got the carb kit coming tomorrow. If you guys like that, tune in for the next video. Giddy up. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We'll see you guys on the next one.